we shall start our discussion on positive displacement pump, and in continuation of our last discussion on the analysis of positive displacement pump, today we shall try to find out the expression of the head that will be developed by this pump. So, this is the schematic depiction of a positive displacement pump. Let me write is the schematic depiction of positive displacement pump. See, I am not going to describe different parts, already we have discussed about this aspect. So, today what we will see, in fact, if we try to recall in the last class, we had discussion on the energy balance. So, now if we look for the total head that will be developed by this pump, there are two different ways by how we can establish this quantity. First method is that we can consider different parts, and integrating different parts together we can frame a system, and if we do the energy balance, the total energy balance of this particular system, from there we can predict the head that will be developed by this pump. Another approach is, rather another way of looking into it is that we can do the energy balance approach, we can do the energy balance both at the suction side as well as in the delivery side. So, before going into that part which is important and why it is important, that I will discuss, but so that means the second approach, which is nothing but the energy balance of both the suction side and delivery side, which will give us an important insight about the pumping or pump operation. But before we go to do so, let us first focus on the energy balance of the system, and the system is nothing but the integration of all the parts which are there for the operation. Before I would like to do this, let us briefly recapitulate why and where this particular type of pump is used. So, positive displacement pump or pumps, to be precise, these pumps are used in applications where we require very high head against a low to moderate discharge, and since the requirement of head is very high, so our objective should be to look into that particular flow quantity, and if we can relate the expression of head that will be developed by the pump with the other parameters, or maybe design parameter or the operating parameters. So, now first method is that total energy balance, right. What we can do? We can consider this is, that is suction tank, suction pipe, valve, delivery pipe and delivery tank, including pump, is constituting, I mean all these parts constitute together to form a system, and if we consider the energy balance considering liquid level in the suction tank as a datum, right. So, energy balance between points 1 and 4 considering liquid level of the suction tank as a datum. Okay. So, I have written liquid level because it is not necessary that always this pump will be used to handle water. So, any type of liquid can be handled. So, if we do so, see, that means we are trying to have energy balance between points 1 and 4. So, basically 1 is the suction tank and 4 is the point 4 is denoting the liquid level in the delivery tank. So, you can understand, let us first write. So, basically energy at point 1 plus work done by the pump will be equal to, see, try to understand, we are essentially trying to lift water from point 1 to point 4. So, the liquid at point 4 is having energy in terms of potential energies, kinetic energy, whatever it is that we will discuss, and when the liquid is lifted to point 4, still at point 4 liquid is having energy, but to lift the liquid from point 1 to point 4, we had to supply energy in the form of work by using this pump, right. And while it is also very important to understand, because you have studied in fluid mechanics course that the amount of, when we are trying to lift water from point 1 to 4, this water or any liquid is getting conveyed into conveyed through the pipeline, vents, valves, etc. So, we really cannot trivially ignore the frictional losses. So, maybe we are trying to lift water from 1 to point 4, for that we are using this pump in which we are supplying energy in the form of mechanical work. Now, you understand, a part of that work will be utilized to overcome the frictional losses. So, if we really look for the energy balance of this system, then energy of liquid at point 1 plus work supplied or work done by the pump equal to energy at point 4 plus the frictional losses. So, the frictional losses will be already, that amount is already consumed. So, that energy at point 1 plus work done by the pump is nothing but the energy at point 4 plus some part is used to overcome the frictional losses. So, that is nothing but energy at point 4 plus losses at suction and delivery sides, right. So, this is what is the energy balance. So, this is very important, that is very easy. Now, we will try to look at energy which is available at point 1, work done by the pump, energy which is available at point 4, energy of the liquid definitely, and losses per unit mass. So, what is energy at point 1? See, try to understand, the liquid is getting transported from point 1 through the suction pipeline. So, you have studied in fluid mechanics. So, I mean, if we write, energy at point 1 per unit mass of the flowing fluid, right. See, here liquid is entering to the suction pipeline against a pressure, that is atmospheric pressure. So, when pressure inside the cylinder is less than the atmospheric pressure, and that is the driving force which leads to the transport of liquid from point 1 into the pump cylinder. When liquid is getting transported from point 1 to cylinder by virtue of the pressure difference, this amount, I mean the liquid, I mean goes into the pipe in presence of this atmospheric pressure, right. So, we have studied in fluid mechanics, say flow work or flow energy, right. Say we have, this is the cross section of the pipeline and this is the flow velocity, right. Say this is P atmospheric pressure, P ATM. This pressure, because of this pressure and this side pressure difference is there. Now, because of this pressure, say liquid has displaced a distance delta x, right. So, what is the flow work and flow energy? So, that is flow work equal. So, you know that here also work is done to maintain the flow in presence of pressure. So, work is done to maintain the flow. So, flow will be maintained spontaneously. So, to maintain the flow in presence of pressure, work is done on the fluid. So, that work is P into A, if A is the cross sectional area of pipe. So, P into A into displacement, that is the flow work that you have studied in fluid mechanics. Now, if we look for flow work per unit mass of the flowing fluid, then that should be A into rho. So, density of the fluid which is being handled by the pump is rho, then rho A into dx, that is the mass, right. So, this can be written equal to P by rho, okay, P ATM by rho. So, this is P ATM. So, this is P ATM by rho, understood. So, we can quickly write. So, this is nothing but P ATM by rho, okay, that is very important. Now, what is work done by the, this is basically per unit mass of the flowing fluid, okay. So, what is work done by the pump? So, next is, so this is 1, number 2, work done by the pump per unit mass of the flowing fluid. That you can do. See, if you consider this is a control volume, I mean you know that we had discussed that in a positive displacement pump, the total mass that is taken during suction stroke should be discharged to the suction delivery tank during delivery stroke. So, as a control mass system, right. So, it is not a case that there is a continuous flow and continuous inflow and continuous outflow. Inflow to the pump is there during suction stroke, and the amount of liquid that is drawn into the pump into the cylinder will be discharged during delivery stroke to the delivery tank. So, as a control mass system, so there is no inlet and outlet. So, you have studied in thermodynamics that control volume system becomes control mass system when there is no inflow and outflow. So, that is the case. So, now I mean what is this quantity? So, this quantity is equal to per unit mass we are looking for. So, it should be that this is very important to understand that what will be head. Now, say this pump I mean is maybe I am writing this pump is delivering liquid against a head capital H, right. So, now can't we write this is nothing but G into H, work done by the pump per unit mass of the flowing fluid, G into H. Number 3, that is energy at point 4 per unit mass of the flowing fluid. See, now which is very important again, if we try to look at here also atmospheric pressure is acting on the free surface of the delivery tank. So, if we need to maintain continuous flow to the delivery tank, so that flow is continuously maintained and this is maintained against the atmospheric pressure P ATM. So, this is atmospheric pressure and this flow is maintained against this atmospheric pressure P ATM constant. So, we can write simply the delivery the work energy which is available at point 4 per unit mass of the flowing fluid is nothing but P ATM by rho plus some quantity. Why this quantity will be there? Say if the distance between point 1 and point 4 is Zs plus Zd, right. So, we are trying to lift liquid from point 1 to point 4, that means some amount of energy will be stored there because of this height difference, right. So, that is the potential energy. So, basically when the liquid is lifted from point 1 to point 4, at point 4 liquid is having some higher energy. So, at 1 energy is Pa by rho, that is the flow energy, energy per unit mass of flowing fluid. At point 4 that will be there because we need to maintain the flow against this atmospheric pressure. On the top of that, the energy due to height difference that will be there, that will remain stored in the fluid at point 4. So, that is nothing but G into Zs plus Zd. Okay. And finally, if we try to find out for that losses both at the suction and delivery side, say summation of Hs plus summation of Hd into G per unit mass we are looking for, right. So, this is G. Now, question is if we just go to the previous slide and if we do this simple balance, then what we will be getting? We will be getting, so from the energy balance we can write P ATM by rho plus G into H equal to G into, see this Zs plus Zd, let us say this is total Z. Okay. So, that is Z plus P ATM by rho plus G into Hs plus Hd. So, all the losses at the suction side and delivery side is represented by this summation, because not only the frictional loss in the pipe, losses in the bends, valves, etc. will be there. So, to take that loss, to take those losses into account, just we have used this summation. Okay. So, we can write from this expression. So, this is basically at point 4, this is work done by the pump and this is so this is 1, this is 2, this is 3 and this is 4. So, we can simply write that H equal to Z plus summation of Hs plus summation of Hd. So, this is the equation that we can derive from this simple energy balance expression. So, suffix S is used to rather used here suffix s is used to denote the losses in the suction line and suffix d is used to denote the losses in the delivery line. So, this is the equation that we have obtained by doing this simple energy balance approach. Now, question is, it is so simple, then why do we need to go for the second approach, that is what I was talking about in the beginning of this class. So, if we can really calculate the what will be the head developed by the pump. So, this is nothing but the height between the suction and delivery water level or liquid level in the suction and delivery side, and if we can calculate the losses, then we can easily calculate what will be the head developed by the pump. If that is really possible to calculate using this equation, then why do we need to go for the second approach, right. So, here you try to understand, again I am coming back to the schematic depiction, and there it will, I mean this schematic will help us to understand why do we need to go for really the second option. So, what is the second method or second option? That is nothing but analysis of energy balance, both rather separate analysis of the energy balance both at the suction side and delivery side. But why do we need to go for such an analysis? See, you understand that when piston moves from the inner end of the cylinder to the outer end of the cylinder during suction stroke, what happens, that at the beginning of the suction stroke, pressure inside the cylinder falls below the vapor pressure, below the atmospheric pressure, and that is why, that means pressure inside the cylinder will be lesser than the atmospheric pressure, and that is the driving force responsible to make the flow occur from point 1 to the cylinder. Now, which is very important to understand is that when the pressure is reducing in the suction pipe in the inside the cylinder, pressure also will fall here, pressure also will fall over here. So, we really do not know the reduction in pressure, if it goes beyond the vapor pressure at that prevailing temperature, then cavitation will start. So, try to understand, if we just do the gross energy balance, that is the total energy balance of the system, then we are getting the expression of head that will be developed by the pump, that is true, but what is missing, what is and which is most important is that, see, as the pressure inside the cylinder falls, we really do not know pressure inside the cylinder falls, that also is, I mean this is also this is highly possible that pressure here, I mean very close to point 2 also will fall. Now, if the pressure goes beyond the vapor pressure at that prevailing temperature, then cavitation will start, and that phenomenon may lead to severe I can say operational issue and the damage of the system. And we have discussed about this particular topic in detail in previous classes. So, now to understand whether pressure at point 2 is whether the pressure at point 2 is below the vapor pressure at that temperature, because we know the local temperature, we know the fluid that is handled by the pump. So, we can calculate vapor pressure corresponding to that temperature. If the pressure at point 2 goes beyond that, it is not desirable. So, that is why it is very important to do a separate analysis of both the suction side and delivery side, only to understand what is the pressure at point 2. Does that pressure fall below the vapor pressure or not. So, basically it is very important to know the pressure at point 2 and as well as 3, which will help, rather which will be an important aspect to save the system from the undesirable phenomenon, that is cavitation. We need to go for the separate analysis both at the suction and delivery side. I hope you have understood it. So, now and doing that separate analysis, we will try to establish the expression of head. Now, if we do so, that separate analysis. So, now second method, so that is separate analysis both at the suction delivery sides. Okay. So, we will do this and now try to understand, very simple, we have to quickly finish it. So, if we do, see, if we consider point 1 and point 2 and if I apply steady flow energy equation, right. So, if we apply point 1 the steady flow energy equation, so the steady state steady flow, and if we apply the energy equation between point 1 and between points 1 and 2, considering liquid level in the suction tank is determined, right. So, again I am telling, we will now apply energy equation, steady flow energy equation between points 1 and 2, considering liquid level in the suction tank as the datum. If we write this, then what I can write is, so applying steady flow energy equation between points 1 and 2, considering liquid level in the suction tank as the datum. What we can write? We can write, see, P ATM by rho plus, so this is atmospheric pressure and cross sectional area of suction tank is much higher than the cross sectional area of the suction pipe. So, I am not going to repeat it, you have understood this. So, this is almost negligibly small, I can write 0 equal to what we can write. See, this is this distance is, I mean, we are considering, because point 2 and we are considering point 2 and point 3, I mean we can consider this ZS height. So, I mean the length of the cylinder we are not going to consider for the analysis, otherwise it will be very difficult. So, I mean if we consider that the length of the pipe is not that much, so that assumptions will not be very bad assumption. So, now what we can write, that is nothing but P 2 by rho plus G into Z s plus V 2 square by 2, right, plus H s, right. So, this is very important, right. Now, if we do this, you can understand that we can simply write what is important, what we need to know. Here you try to understand, we have taken height of point 2 is Z s and we are considering that the height of the cylinder is not very high. So, I mean this middle part of the cylinder and point 2, I mean the height between the middle part of the cylinder and point 2 is not very significant. So, that the analysis will not be very much erroneous. So, now question is our objective is to find out the pressure at point 2, and if that pressure goes beyond the vapor pressure at that temperature, then problem will arise. So, from this analysis, can't we calculate what is pressure P 2. So, from this we can write then P 2 by rho equal to P ATM by rho minus V 2 square by 2 plus G Z s plus summation of H s. So, let us see, put a summation symbol over here, right. So, this is which is very important. See, I mean this is basically manometric head. So, this is manometric head. Why this is manometric head? Kinetic, potential plus frictional head. So, I mean if we do this, so I can write this is what is correct. Now, what is very important is that, see here if we look at the schematic. So, this is basically manometric head at the suction site, right, manometric head at the suction site. So, you would try to understand. So, I mean I can write this expression. So, I can write in a this form. So, this is fine P rho g v square by 2 g like this, right. In that case, I mean if we write this is rho g 1 unit mistake is there. So, let us do like this. Okay. So, this is very now straightforward. So, this is straightforward. So, this is manometric head, and this head, why it is called manometric head? Because it represents negative pressure shown by the manometer. So, here in the schematic, one manometer is connected to the suction pipeline and the manometer inlet is very close to point 2. So, the manometer, this is called manometric head because this is the negative pressure and that is shown by the manometer which is connected to the suction pipeline. So, this is negative pressure shown by the manometer connected to suction line. See, you understand that pressure at point 2 is definitely less than atmospheric pressure, and that is what I was talking about, and this is quite obvious, otherwise there will not be flow of fluid from point 1 to the point 2. Now, the pressure is less than atmospheric pressure by how much amount, I mean what is the quantity. So, it is less than the atmospheric pressure by this quantity. So, this quantity is very important. So, the pump designer should be responsible to select ZS, select the pipeline to determine the V2, the velocity through the suction pipeline, and also accordingly select the number of fittings, valves, vents, etc. so that HS should be controlled. So, this is very important and that is why this separate analysis is required. Okay. Now, this is very important. Next, if we apply steady flow energy equation between points 3 and 4, and as if the length or height of the cylinder is so thin that it does not affect the analysis too much, and we can, and that is why we have considered that the height between point 1 and point 2 is ZS. So, this height between point 2 and middle of the cylinder is not very significant, that we need to consider. Okay. So, now if we consider between points 3 and 4, then what we can write? We can write P3 by rho g. Now, see, at point 3 velocity is still there, velocity of the liquid. So, if we consider that is V3 square by 2 g equal to P ATM by rho g plus Z d plus summation of H d, right. So, this is very important. Okay. So, you can understand that here. So, again we are going to consider height between point 4 and point 3 is Z d, though Z d is taken from the middle of the cylinder, but between middle of the cylinder and point 3 is not significant, very small height. So, basically that if we ignore that height, it does not affect the analysis too much. Okay. So, now what you can see from this particular analysis is that, now what we need to know? We need to know, if we go to the schematic again, we need to know the pressure at point 3, and that is why you are going this analysis, separate analysis. So, I mean we can write this P3 by rho g equal to P ATM by rho g plus I am writing Z d plus summation of H d minus V 3 square by 2 g, right, minus V 3 square by 2 g. So, again I am telling the cross sectional area of 0.4 is very high as compared to the cross sectional area of the delivery pipeline. So, velocity at delivery tank is not, I mean negligibly small as compared to velocity at 0.3. So, that is why it is ignored. So, now you understand this is again manometric head. So, this is again manometric head. Why it is manometric head? Manometric head as it shows positive pressure by the manometer connected to delivery pipe. Okay. So, this is say HMD. So, if we go to this schematic, see this is the manometer that is connected to the delivery pipeline and the manometer reading, this is the manometric head, positive manometric head. Okay. So, now we can see and this is positive, right, that is why pressure at point force should be definitely higher than pressure at 0.3, right. So, and this is shown by this quantity. So, it is HMD and say this is HMS. Okay. So, now question is what is the manometric head developed by the pump? So, manometric head developed by the pump is HMS plus HMD, right. That is why what is the need of connecting these two manometers both at the suction line and delivery line. So, we are getting manometric head and manometric delivery head. So, if we just sum these two head and then we will be getting the manometric head that is developed by the pump, right. So, head at 0.2 and head at 0.3. So, that is the head that is developed by the pump. Now, I mean if we do so, then what will be the quantity HMS plus HMD. So, basically manometric head, that is nothing but you can understand what is that is V 2 square by 2 g. So, this is negative, right, you try to understand. So, this is negative HMS ZS, right, ZS plus we can write ZS plus HS plus this is ZD plus HD plus ZD plus HD minus V 3 square by 2 g minus V 2 square by 2 g, right. So, this is what is important. See, we are not going to take the negative. So, this is negative sign indicate that is the negative pressure. So, that is the vacuum. So, basically here you understand that this quantity is less than the atmosphere. So, this quantity leads to a reduction of the pressure at the suction pipeline from the atmospheric pressure. So, this is the manometric head. So, we are taking this. So, now if you rearrange it ZS plus ZD plus summation of HS plus HD minus V 3 square by 2 g minus V 2 square by 2 g. Now, see, I mean this quantity is nothing but head H. So, if we now go to the first one, this quantity is H. So, that is the head developed by the pump that we have. So, if the H is the head developed by the pump, that is nothing but Z plus Hs plus Hd, where Z is Zs plus Zd. So, basically this is H minus V3 square by 2G minus V2 square by 2G, right. So, this is as Zs plus Zd equal to Z. So, if we go to the schematic depiction, so you can write this is Z, right. So, this is Z, Zs plus Zd, sorry this is not this is Z, Zs plus Zd, that is Z, right. And so, this is very important. Now, see, I mean what we can write here is that, so if this is Hm, so if this is Hm, so this is the manometric head. So, can't we write that manometric head equal to head minus V3 square by 2G minus V2 square by 2G. So, the manometric head is not equal to head that will be developed by the pump because of the kinetic head due to the change in velocity both in the suction and delivery side. If we can design the suction pipeline and delivery pipeline in such a way that the diameter or velocity of the suction pipe and delivery pipe is equal. So, when V3 equal to V2, then Hm equal to H, right. So, when V3 equal to V2, then what H is equal to Hm. So, now you try to understand. So, it is very important, that is when velocity at delivery line and suction line is equal, then Hm is equal to H. So, this is very important. Okay. Now, I would like to go to the schematic depiction. So, what is this quantity, right. So, this quantity up to this, not this, up to this quantity is, so this is HMD, this is HMS and this is HM, manometric head. Okay. So, this is very important. Now, we have developed that manometric head developed by the pump will be equal to the head when the velocity both in the suction and delivery lines is equal. Now, question is, then why did we do this analysis? Answer is, because of this analysis, at least we are in a position to understand that this is very important to know that the pressure at point 2 will be lesser than atmospheric pressure by this amount. So, by tuning the parameters like velocity at the suction line, height static Zs, that is the height difference between point 1 and the suction valve, and also the frictional losses, by proper designing the system we can control, so that cavitation will not occur. Okay. So, quickly let us discuss about a few efficiencies. So, you know that Hm and equal to H when V3 is equal to V2. Say, I mean now say power produced by the pump equal to rho G into H into Q, right. So, that is the power produced by the pump, and that is actual power I am writing. Actual power produced by the pump is rho G into QH. See, this is the actual power. So, maybe this is the head developed by the pump. So, this is the actual head, right. So, this is the actual head developed by the pump. Now, question is, see inside the pump, let me tell you that inside the pump the power will be slightly high. So, we have not considered the analysis that we have done till now, we did not consider the losses inside the pump, because we did not take the this small height, we did not consider, we have assumed that this height is not very significant. so that the analysis will not affect. But still again I am telling, if we consider the frictional losses inside the pump, definitely the power that will produced, internal power that will be produced will be something different. So, if we go to the next slide, I mean in the slide, so internal power produced by the pump will be, say this is P, so this is Pi, that will be equal to rho g into cube H I. See, so this is the internal head developed, naturally, quite naturally H I equal to H plus delta H, right. In other way, that actual head, that is nothing but the H I minus delta H. So, this is internal power produced by the pump. So, can't we define that what is eta theoretical efficiency P by P naught, where P naught is the power input to the pump. So, this is the input power to the pump, right. So, as the I told you that to have the reciprocating motion of the piston, either we need to drive the piston by using IC engine or electric motor through the crank and connecting rod mechanism. So, if the power input to the pump is P naught, that P is the actual power developed by the pump, that is the theoretical efficiency. Now, which is very important to understand is that, so this is nothing but rho cube G H by P naught. Okay. So, we will be doing in an important exercise today, that is, can't we write this eta theoretical efficiency equal to P by P naught? Can't we write that? So, this is nothing by Pi by P naught into P by Pi, right. So, now we understand this P naught, Pi by P naught, right, Pi by P naught, that is nothing but the, so we can write Pi by P naught into rho cube G H divided by rho q into G H I. Okay. So, you can understand that, so this is basically q theoretical, let me write it here. So, this is nothing but Pi by P naught into P by Pi. So, Pi is, this is q theoretical. Okay. So, that is nothing but Pi by P naught, that is nothing but mechanical efficiency. So, into H by H I, right, into q by q theoretical. So, this is nothing but eta mechanical into eta manometric into eta volumetric. Okay. So, this is manometric efficiency, because the internal head that is developed is equal to H I, but that is not the actual head. So, some losses is there, that is the manometric efficiency, and now when we are calculating Pi, then at least it should be q theoretical, right. So, and this is q actual. So, this q actual by q theoretical I am writing, this is q actual. So, this is q actual. So, this is nothing but the eta volumetric efficiency. Okay. So, basically we shall discuss on this part again in the next class, when we will be discussing another a few critical issues from the operational point of view of this particular pump, and therein we shall discuss about other efficiencies, and then what is the need of having different other components for the operation of this particular pump. So, with this I stop here today, and we shall continue in the next class. Thank you.